Thank you. Have a good day.
There's somebody outside.
Yeah. Have a good day, you guys. Yeah, thank you. Okay,
Damn it. Fucking a dozen cats living in a shed and they can't get a mouse in a fucking beehive. Little sons of guns. Oh, that's right, we're supposed to knock them down, aren't we? Can't tell.
Grab the can while you grab that tab and slide her out. Yeah, she's pretty calm.
Yeah, until we pull her out. We don't mind as hell.
There you go. Yeah, it's fine.
So there's a piece of candy in there that we're looking at.
I would just shake these bees off, like, so we can get a good look at what's
I
going
don't
on.
want to kick her butt.
No, that's the cork. So I think that's the. Is she good?
Looks like she's in there by herself.
And is she
Yeah, she's moving around.
moving around? Perfect. Okay. So yeah. So that's cork. That cork is what we need to pop out,
Okay.
and then we'll put a chunk of this marshmallow in there.
Without losing her.
Like really, like I would get them all off of it. And just
Sorry, guys.
because you're gonna have to pop that cork out and put this
Oh, sure.
this marshmallow in without having her stick her head out and squish her or whatever. So
Alright, you go
just
to the bottom.
having all these other.
Oh, I said bottom. Sit. Heel. She really wants to go.
Oh,
there.
she's probably okay. You can just cover the top with your fingers.
Oh, yeah, she wanted to go right away. She just keeps trying to get up there.
That's okay. So let's rip
Alright.
a chunk of marshmallow off, and then just cram it down in there.
Alright, she's still good.
Perfect. So yeah, because it's just her, it doesn't matter that whole thing where I said orient
Sure.
the hole up. It doesn't matter
Okay.
now because if she dies either way. So
This okay for her?
yeah, I would go sideways. So the screen is either facing that way or this way.
Oh,
So
like
that
this?
because yeah, she's only going to be stuck in there for a day or so, but
Okay.
they will feed her and even through the screen. They'll take care of her through the screen. So yeah, so you don't want her totally closed off.
Sure.
And then her pheromones they can smell her. They're good. Start getting used to her while she's in there.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So then now you're just
Dump as many as I can.
yeah, just dump the hole. Just shake them in there. There you go. It's a nice package.
That's what she said.
hardly any dead in that one. That's good. Yeah, see, and because it's cool today, they're gonna be pretty calm like that. So now I would just put the frames. So you might have trouble, when you get a frame here, you're gonna have to have her tucked inside that tab
Okay.
to have her pinned in between the two.
Can we just only put in like 2 and leave a gap for now?
I would put the, yeah,
Put them all in, or put them all in?
You'd only have room for 2 more anyway.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So
Sure.
like, I would just put. And there, yeah.
And so then when we put the next one in, we'll just kind of hang it on this guy.
Yeah, I would.
Or, you know, just hang it on these little latches.
Just hang it over. You could even just hang it over the edge of this frame.
I see.
You know what I mean?
I see what you're saying.
You'll just have to bend the wire kind of sideways.
Sure. All right, guys. I don't want to kill you guys.
So just put like, yeah, there you go. I gotta go this way.
Oh, it's sticking right there.
Yeah, let's just make sure, again, we just got to make sure that that doesn't fall down to the bottom.
Oh yeah, it is kind of falling down there, isn't it?
Because if, so I would just bend that wire to the side and hook it over, I would hook it over the frame.
Okay.
Just, you know, it'll be at a weird angle. Yeah, like that.
You guys move.
There you go, just like that. I think that's good. Yeah, so over the next day or so, they'll eat away at that marshmallow and they should release her. So
Cool.
that's them. And I think you're going to put the bucket on this one because that feeder thing is that size?
I think the feeder's this size.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah. And then we just pour the sugar water in here, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Trying to think if you want that. You might not want that inner frame, that inner cover.
On there now?
I don't know. I've never used the hive top feeder like that before.
We'll find out.
I don't. Yeah.
Well, we'll play with it. It's not gonna be on there forever anyway.
Sure.
All right. So can you
That's-
bring down sugar water?
That's it. That's how simple it is. Pretty simple. How much it was in that can? Is there much left in there? A little bit.
Feels pretty dry. How does it get out of there?
Just the tiniest little holes.
I see a dent.
I think that's a hole.
Huh.
I think that's a hole. There might be 3 of them. Yeah,
Oh,
there's
yeah.
typically 3 of them. See?
That's cool.
Tiny little holes. Yeah. Their little tongue thing can
Yeah.
go up in there. And there you go.
Go home, bees.
Package number 1.
Easy.
Yeah. All right. Well, I got my 2 packages here. Interesting thing happened. You can see that this is all leaking all over the place. I'm just using my phone now, so hopefully somehow that can leaked everywhere. And this whole package of bees was down at the bottom when I got to my buddy's place. And I thought I had a dead package. Well, they all just got soaked apparently. You can see all the liquid in there, which is too bad. It did kill a number of bees, it looks like. But maybe they'll be okay. But it's still a good quality package. Both of these packages are really, really good quality. See, those bees in there. So I'm not sure why that happened. Maybe that can's got a leak in it. Something. But anyway, more dead in these 2 packages than in the 2 that I put in my buddy's. But the other part of this is that the landowner called me a couple weeks ago now, honestly, and said that this hive had tipped over. And I didn't get out here. I tried and I couldn't get out here, and I thought, well, the way it's sitting, maybe they'll be okay, even though this is not ideal. And looks like I'm right. They just tucked up in there. We've had some cold days, I mean in the 30s, but it looks like this hive is they're surviving. I mean, they're wild animals, so no surprise that they're able to survive this. They've got the way that this is set up, they do actually have shelter. Hunker down in there, and it looks like they're clustered up right now, right in there. So whether the queen survived this or not, the population is pretty darn big, and I don't think these other hives are really flying much. So I think that's in fact that hive. So I asked him what he thought the problem was, and you see those guys up. Hopefully you can see those guys up in there doing just fine, poking their heads out. These guys too, right there. And you can see, unfortunately, I still have, sides are tilted a little bit, and he said it got pretty windy up here, and what the heck am I thinking? I have this nice platform here that he built, and somehow as I was shuffling these hives around, I didn't put anything on there. So, but I think they're going to be okay. So I think I do have 3 viable setups here, and then I'll put the new packages that I have in there, and we'll give her a go. Unfortunately, I only have my phone here. My GoPro died when I was recording with my buddy, so I only got 1 package that he installed on camera. But so I'll do the best I can with my phone. But yeah, we'll install these packages and set up that hive. All right. Well, I just got to do the best I can with the camera that I have here. So, these 2 hives that I'm gonna put packages in died over the winter. I'm not surprised that they died. One in particular, I didn't even put a moisture board in or put any insulation in the top or anything. It really, I knew it had a high count for whatever reason, really high. Really high mite count, and so I was willing to let it go. I didn't think it was something that was. It is windy up here. So no surprise that surprised that hive tipped over. I guess I also keep it way too tall. But so I actually kind of intentionally let this hive over here die. And so that's what I'm going to be filling in here. So I don't know what your guys' opinion is on this. Hopefully you can see that. This kind of comb packed with, I don't know what it is, pollen. scrape down into it a little bit. It's just pollen, and they don't ever seem to, it's all like that. They don't ever seem to use any of it. They don't, these just sit there. They don't do anything. Nothing changes. They don't see, as far as I know, they don't use it. They pack it and they just kind of leave that frame, and all of a sudden you got a frame. This whole frame is full of that, and it's useless. It's a wasted bit of space in there for them. And I'm not really sure what why they do that. A little bit, but all right, so I've got honey, tons and tons of honey left in this. I mean, weird wonky comb, but tons of honey in here. So, and frames on either side that are full. Couple frames in the middle here for brood, hopefully. All right, so I'm gonna shake one of these packages down in here. Nice looking package, a little bit minimal dead there, but I think both of these I mean, you can see that, hopefully you can see, all those bees on the bottom, most of them are moving around. So, again, let's double check that you can actually see what the heck I'm trying to show. Okay, so again, quick lesson. It's nice and cool out today, so the bees aren't really that active. So when I install this package, it's not going to be a problem. Feeder can is in the middle here. Oh, shoot. Well, let's see. Well, I gotta improvise. Just a second. So what I failed to do, I did 2 packages with my buddy just now, and the queen cage has a plug in it. It does not have a candy side to it. And so it has a cork that I need to pull out, and then I need to put something, I usually put marshmallow in it. I don't have marshmallow. I have these little fruit gummies that my kids eat, and I eat a few of them myself. And I looked at it, and it's just organic mango. The ingredients are organic mango and orange extract. So I think it'll be okay. It's soft enough. I'll just put a little bit in there. I normally kind of cram the marshmallow in, but it's so soft that I think that they can eat it pretty fast. I'll literally maybe just put a little bit like this in there and hope that they can eat that away. I don't know when these packages were filled. They've been on the road for a couple of days. They came in last night. I know that they were on the road all day yesterday. So, I mean, maybe only 36, 40 hours, something like, or 48 hours maybe. So they should be pretty darn used to the queen by now, but some people say 3 to 5 days. I think a lot of people like 5 days. I don't know if that's extreme or not, but so I'm gonna end up sticking just something in there that I think that they can eat away. Hopefully they enjoy this and will actually eat this, and so that's a delayed release. The point is to delay the release of the queen. When they fill these packages up, they take bees from all different hives. They just, take some of the, either they just are using full hives and they just go right down the line, or they're taking some bees from multiple hives and they're putting them all together. So the bees actually, before they were in the package, were not all from the same hive. They fill the package up, they do it by weight, typically 2 or 3 pounds. They literally put this container on a scale. They shake bees into it from all over in there until it gets to the 2 or 3 pound mark. They have queens that they have raised separately, totally separate from these bees. So none of these bees have interacted together, except maybe the worker bees in hives that are around each other maybe. But the queens are totally separate. So if you put a queen directly in here, these bees would likely kill her because they're used to the pheromones of the queen that was from their hive. So get them used to her pheromones by putting her in a cage that keeps her safe while they get used to the fact that she is now going to be their queen. And then there's a hole at the end of this little cage, and maybe I can pull it out now. And then she will release. You want to delay the release if you can by a couple days. Again, they've been traveling for a couple days. You want to delay the release so that they get used to her, so that they don't feel like she's an intruder and that they will kill her, and then your colony is out of a queen. And so to delay the release, you put some sort of sugar plug, candy plug in there for them to eat away at while they're getting used to her. And then naturally, while they eat the candy plug, in this case it's a fruit gummy, then they can release her by eating, and then they should be used to her and everything should be good to go. So let's say, give it a shake, bump them down so that they're not super active because they're not super hot. You will always lose, some of these bees will come out. You always will have some release of a few bees, right? Then we slide this queen cage out. The queen is surrounded by bees, so that's a really darn good sign that she's probably fine. If they weren't around her, then she probably has died a little while ago, actually, because usually they'll still stay around her even if she's dead. I've had dead queens before. Can't really see her, so you got to shake those bees off and get a look at her. In this case, she is doing just fine. She's very active in there. So get as many of those. Now here's the plug. Again, some cages actually have a plug, but then they have a nice big chunk of candy in here. And then you would take that plug out. The bees on the outside would eat from this way. She would eat a little bit from this way. And they would release her by just eating the candy plug just naturally. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna hope this chunk is big enough. I drop Sowelly, little ad for whatever Sowelly gummies are. They are delicious. But that's what I'm gonna actually put in here. They're plenty soft, you can see that. So again, I don't think it will be that big of a deal. To pull that plug out, and then you just got to be careful. She's pretty active, running around in there. As soon as she sees daylight, I'm sure she's going to try and go for it, right? So again, I've done a few of these videos I think before. Just try and pull the plug. She's gonna be, they're quick, so you gotta figure out. There you go, she's down. All right, at least it's blocked for now for a second. So it's just a little piece of cork, shouldn't bother anybody. Just stuck in there enough so it sticks. She's in there, doing good. Now, sometimes you have a queen the cage would be bigger. You'd have a couple attendants in there, nurse bees. And what you really want to be careful of then is that this hole that she's going to have to be released through needs to be up in that case. If she's in there alone, doesn't matter. It can be down or up. It can be sideways, whatever. Doesn't matter. But if she's in there with a couple of nurse bees, you want it up. And the reason that you want it up is because if one of those nurse bees dies, they of course will fall to the bottom of the cage. Well, if the bottom of the cage is here, they fall and plug that hole. She can't get out, even if they remove that candy plug. They may not be able to get her out. She may not be able to get out. Now, you would think that they would be able to. They move dead bees around all the time in the hive, so you would think they would be able to extract that nurse bee. So it may not be a problem, but why? All you got to do is flip it up like this and guarantee that that's not going to be a problem. So why would you even risk it? Again, in this case, it doesn't matter. So now I just need to one that tipped over, man. So she's sideways in there. She's squeezed into the comb on that side a little bit. She should be good to go. Now I will move this package. Take this extra frame out here. Alright, so all of these are kind of, if you need to, you can shake it down again. There's not, again, it's cool out here. I don't know, it's not even 50 degrees. It's probably 40, 45 maybe. So they're not really that active. Okay, so they're not coming out aggressively, actively. They're kind of docile because they're cold. And then you just dump them in there. And I normally don't work without gloves on, but I'm fairly confident that I should be okay without them this time. Of course, when you hear me scream that I got stung, well, you don't want to be too hard on these guys, but they do you know, they're holding onto the sides. So one way to do that is to actually tap them down. See a big pile there that fell down. Now dump those out again. Still, there's tons on the sides. You can, you know, however much you want to mess with this. The next thing I'm going to do is just leave the package outside the hive here, and hopefully most of the rest of them over the course of the day will come out and go in. Sure is nice to have a nice breeze. Anyway, so there's that. Still tons of live bees in there hanging on. Again, how much you want to mess with it. Those are good bees, so I don't want them to go to waste or anything, but even by the front entrance over the course of the day. Choose to that's it. I just moved that hive a little bit. Look at all the bees. They're doing great. Look at that. They survived that. That's a couple weeks ago now. I'll check my text messages and calls, but I didn't get out here. They did just fine. These two boxes were actually glued together pretty good. I just had to separate them. When I separated them, they got a little ornery and started bubbling out of there. But look at the population of that. They're doing fantastic. So I'm gonna set them up right here, get them on a level spot, and get them set up, and then enter that install that other package. Look at them. I mean, those two deeps are full of bees. So again, 2 or 3 weeks they ended up on the ground there, but these two boxes stayed together, and actually this was up, so it was just on its back there, and so they had plenty of shelter, and they just huddled up in there, and they were doing fine. They had honey right next to them, so honestly they did just fine. So that's a huge hive right now, so that's pretty impressive for overwintered. So this one is 2 deeps, and it had 2 mediums on it, so 1 medium here and 1 medium there, so it was all stacked up here. Just found it interesting. So like the bottom basically is dead. So I'm not sure, there was nothing in between it. I first noticed rot right here on this top. There's not a lot of bees in here, but then that top box, 3rd box, 4th box all have bees in it, full of honey. It's got, I don't know, they got separated somehow in the hive, looks like, because they're all clustered together. I thought they were alive. I didn't tear this hive apart the last time I was out here. They are all dead in the bottom here, but they're doing fine up top here. Whether there's a queen or not, I don't know, but kind of interesting. And that's the bottom board. I mean, I'm not advocating for having a top entrance during the winter or anything, winka, but this is the bottom. I think they're just all wet and are literally breaking down in the middle there. This is all rotten dead bees. That's the top of that box. Here's the bottom of that box. Again, if I didn't have an upper entrance, those guys would be not around.